It is a sad day to be a Manchester United supporter today, as it has been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano that Jean Clair Todibo's move to Manchester United might be completely off, at least for now, unless solutions are found. It is becoming worrying what Man United is going to do in this summer transfer window. My name is Webb. Quick update concerning the big club. Like, share, and subscribe as we do get into it. Now, we know for a fact that for a long time, Manchester United has been extremely interested in Jean Clair Todibo, the OGC niche 24-year-old centre-back who can also play as a right-back. And we expected that was going to be one of our first signings. He's waiting on Manchester United, speaking with a lot of excitement about the prospect of joining Manchester United. In fact, he confirmed himself in recent weeks in an interview that he spoke both to Man United and Tottenham. But his £40 million valuation, between 30 to 45 million pounds, is something Man United can be willing to meet. But the UEFA regulations might make it difficult for him to join his dream club in Manchester United, because according to UEFA, teams that are going to be both playing in Europe cannot switch players between them if they are owned by the same entity. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Well, you can say, why is Chelsea? I mean, if it were Chelsea and Strasbourg, who are owned by the same group, that would be different, because they are not going to be playing in Europe at the same time. So this is according to a rule. But it is believed that maybe Ineos can try to work out a structure or a way they can make it happen with UEFA, and you'll talk to them. Remember when Man United was under threat of not being allowed to play in Europe because of OGC niche, and later on they were given an ultimatum, a couple of days, to come up with solutions and present a convincing reason why UEFA should let them compete with OGC niche. Well, they succeeded, but it is emerging now that from the talks that were held, UEFA or Ineos learned that because they own niche, they cannot do certain things freely because of owning Man United as well. So it's a very sad update, honestly. I think if you speak about the centre-back options that United has had, I think the first priority for most of us was Todibo. We know how good he can be in the right back, where we also know we have issues. He gives us depth in there. As a centre back, coming out there to directly partner with Lisandro Martinez would be impeccable. But because of the rules of the game, United has got to move on. Probably this is why we've been inquiring about so many centre backs lately. We inquired about the likes of Marcus De Ligt of Bayern Munich. We inquired about players like Gonzalo Inacio, who came on as a substitute for I think Portugal. Last night. We've inquired about several players, but Manchester United might be now forced to look at those. Branthwaite and the likes, Mark Wehi. These are the players you might want to focus on. Let me know how disappointed you are at the possible prospect of Man United not signing Jean Clair Todibo, an important signing who we believed we are going to have. I'll tell you honestly, the UEFA rules are quite complicated, quite a number of them. And I mean, they can, of course, you've got to play by the rules. I mean, that's the rule of life. You need to play by the rules. Of course, sometimes rules are there to be broken, but there are rules you can't break, aren't they? So that's where we are. So expect that perhaps in the next weeks, of course, Todibo will be feeling the most disappointed, because the other club that we know in England that wants him has been Tottenham, and I'm certain other clubs can show interest in him. But he confirmed himself that he has spoken to Tottenham as well, and other clubs around Europe outside England are interested in him. I think even PSG wanted him at some point. So he's a player of interest, but I believe Man United would have been the dream club, given how he was speaking about them in recent interviews when quizzed about the possible move to the red levels. So that's a bit of a sad update, really, to say. But I think it's good that it's coming early in the transfer window. It gives us time. Already we've been looking at other options. And again, now you see why exactly Ineos had to be creative and say, we need at least 3 names per position we are trying to sign, because things like this are going to come up. And UEFA too are also learning about, Ineos too are also learning about football. They are just beginning to understand how football works. But also, no one can say they completely know the rules of football. Even referees are always learning new rules. Things keep changing. There are rules that have never been used at some point, and people don't know that they exist. So there's a lot to learn. We cannot sit here and blame, I think, Ineos or whoever for this. In the event that we can't change it, I mean, it is what it is. The rules are there, and they are there to be followed, so we've got to play by them. But that's where we are now. There's a report that is dropping now, that is coming through, suggesting that Manchester United are apparently not willing to trigger Michael Olise's close to 70 million pounds buyout clause with with Crystal Palace. He's just dropped, and I think for me this is would be almost Man United giving up and saying, you know what, go to Chelsea if they feel like they're in the lead. I think United are beginning now to come back to earth and try to understand or realize that they perhaps don't have so much money to spend and splash around on players left, right, and center. But this is a report that has just dropped now as I speak to you that apparently Man United are not willing to beat the buyout clause of Olise. I'll tell you honestly, for me, if Man United gets the right centre back, and of the options we have, if has got to be, if there are two, because we might sign two, Guehi and maybe one outside from outside England. If it's not Todibo now, I would. I would honestly think of Delete. I think I like Delete. I think he's a leader. He gives us a different dimension. So if you bring in Mark Guehi, who can play, I think Guehi as well can drop into the middle if he's called upon to, because I've seen him in moments for England, even at Crystal Palace, the way he comes into the middle and carries the ball, he's confident on it, and I think he can be molded into a John Stones type of player. So I think if we get Delete and Guehi, I think that would be a good pair to come and replace Varane and Harry Maguire, honestly. Then in the middle, I spoke about Joao Neves and Fofana. Those are two. Then one of the two. Then up front, of course, Zakzi is out of this world. I think Zakzi, or at worst, Sahu Girassi. But Girassi, according to reports, is Borussia Dortmund are confident they are going to price him. They are going to poach him. Then another player I think we can go for in this summer should be a left back, probably Luke Shaw. I'm still not convinced he's 100%, so I think I'll still go for a left back. But for me, I think it's without a shadow of a doubt that Manchester United has got to boost certain departments. Some with two players, others with one. But I think for me, without a shadow of a doubt, there are certain departments where we've got to boost with two players who are nearly world class if we have to, especially in the central defense and in the holding midfield. We've got to have players who are close to world class, not any Tom, Dick, and Harry's just sign, for fun. I think we've got to get the quality players. Branthwaite is not that, if you ask me. Todibo was. We've lost out on Todibo. I would go for Mark Guehi and Mathis Delete. These are Euro players. Then Zakzi is there. He's close to that. Then Fofana and Joao Neves, close to that. Left back will come back and again focus on which names we might come up with, but we still need a left back. The other, by the other central defender we could get, if it's not one of the two, Delete and the Guehi, I think we can get a left-footed player if we want a backup for Lisandro Martinez. And Gonzalo Inacio is a good player. I think we've proved that. Even at Portugal, when he came on, you saw him. I think he's a good player who we can bring in there. And I think I love elements of his game, certain parts of his game. If he's not expensive, he's another decent player, we can sign it. But guys, we've got to move on from Jean Clair Todibo. At least that is what is certain for now. My name is Webb. This is the United World Sport. Like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what your take is on the Todibo situation. Are you disappointed? Should we be frowning? Is it good riddance? Should we move on? Are there so many options to look at? Well, drop down in the comment section and give me your 2 cents about it. But what's for certain is that Ineos are working behind the scenes. They are cooking a lot of things, and very soon they will be serving us something. So for me, there's really no concern about Man United now being, dropping back and lagging when it comes to transfers just because of this Todibo story. I think it was probably low-key expected. We thought maybe because he's an Ineos player, it would be easier to sign him. But then, of course, the rules will always be there. But that's where we are. Subscribe, like, and share. And I'll catch you later, fam.